Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, it's the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. We have bellied up to the bar on the first day of the spookiest month ever. At least that's what everybody else thinks. I think February is April's way more spookier because that's when your taxes are due. And y'all know that's a bunch of bullshit. You like that one? I made that up. That's how you can tell I'm a dad, because I made a good dad joke. And why not make a dad joke with somebody else who I'm pretty sure he's a dad? I think I saw him posting stuff about that. So joining us, and we're going to be talking tattoos, how to become a tattoo artist. He also recently posted some international tattoo news that I thought was kind of interesting. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So, and I'm going to butcher his last name up because I don't know if it's one piece or it's two piece. I don't know how to do it, and I forgot to ask. But joining us all the way from, and here's a piece of worthless knowledge for everyone, the most densely populated state in the United States. Did you know that? Let's see if you knew that. Did you know that?
I don't think I knew that. No.
That is a true fact. So joining all the way from New Jersey, it's Mr. Eric Del Valle.
Thank you for having me, Sean. Appreciate it.
So how bad did I butcher your last name up?
Not too bad. Del Valle is pretty much like the go-to for a lot of people.
Okay.
But it's Spanish, so when there's a double L, it's pronounced like a J, so it's Del Valle.
Del Valle.
Yeah.
Now I can say Del Valle. I tried to do the whole Spanish, like the apps and all that.
Yeah.
Failed so miserably. And
Duolingo.
I didn't do Duolingo. I did one of the other ones. I don't remember. And brother, I was trying. I was truly trying, but I failed at it. But so we're going to be talking about tattoo artists, how to get into the business. What are some of the different elements? What makes a good tattoo student? I think that to me is even more of an important question.
Yeah.
But before we get into all those different things and we find out all about what Eric came here to talk about, let's go ahead and do some house cleaning. As always, folks, we got the big board over my right shoulder for sticker and a cause. You got something you're supporting, something you believe in, something you want other people to know about, and you've got a sticker involved with it. You can reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, X. Our website is the abovethebarpodcast.com. Our email is abovethebarpodcast@gmail.com. Heck, if I could put it on the back of your grandmother's transistor radio, I probably would do that also. So reach out to us. Let me know what you got going on. You send me a message. I'll tell you where to send that sticker to. And we read about you here live on the air, free for everybody under the sun to know about it. We also got to talk about our sponsors. And that's Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Hudson and Cooksaki and Schoharie. And we can go ahead and announce it now. Coming up by the end of this week, we will also be adding into that family Budget Blinds of Del Mar and Budget Blinds of Clifton Park. This is North America's largest custom window treatment company. They're handling everything from blinds, shades, shutters, you name it, they do it. Any type of window treatment you could ever possibly think about, they're taking care of it. And if you reach out to any of them here in the month of December, and it's not December, so we might want to do it in October. That'll tell you where my brain's at. But if you reach out to anyone here in the month of October and you let them know that you're there to belly up to the bar, they're going to give you an extra 5%, and their sale for October is 25% off of all drapery. Now, listen, folks, this ain't grandma's drapery that, depending upon where you lived and where you grew up, it had cigarette smoke stains on them. Listen, I remember my grandmother, we'd clean the ceiling. Remember drop ceiling tiles and cleaning them? Had like nicotine stains. It was horrible. That's why I'm so glad most people don't smoke anymore like that. But so reach out to them. Let them know you're there to belly up to the bar. They're going to take good care of you. That's, once again, Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Hudson, Cooksaki, Schoharie, Del Mar, and Clifton Park. All right, Eric, all that's done. How are things in New Jersey?
They're nice, actually. It's a pretty nice day today. It's it's starting to get that weird area where it's like super cold in the morning and then it gets like blistering hot during the day.
Like that temperature where like if you stood in the shade, you're like, man, I really need like a windbreaker or something.
Right. Yeah.
You take one step out into the sun, you're like, my God, I could burst into flames at any moment.
Yeah, 'cause I'm taking the kids to school in the morning, and I'm still kind of in like summer mode, so they're in like little t-shirts and they're walking outside, and they just like immediately start shivering. I'm like,
I
oh
get
man.
I get it completely. Where did my trying to bring up so let's kind of dive into a little bit of your history. So let's see, you've been tattooing for 12 years.
Yeah.
Uh you've worked with brands like Puma and New Balance. But now was that before or
That was
during your
before. Yeah, that was before.
so what were you doing?
That was when I was working in graphic design. So a lot of that was like through the company I was working with. So I started in graphic design when I was 20, 21, 22 around there.
Okay.
So after I left school, I kind of just like randomly fell into the job. Like I answered a Craigslist ad for somebody who was like asking for, "Oh, do you know how to draw?" I'm like, "Okay, I know how to draw." So I just answered the ad, and I had a job interview, and I had sent the guy like a bunch of images of my drawings like via email, and I thought that was enough. So I went to the job interview. I didn't bring a portfolio with me. So when I sat down and we were talking, he was like, "Oh, so where's your portfolio?" I'm like, "I thought you saw my drawings." He's like, "No, no, 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 no. That's not how this works. You need to bring me a portfolio." So I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Listen, you got an hour, come back with something." So I had to run to Staples, buy a portfolio. Mind you, this is like summer. It was like 100 something degrees outside, and I'm a sweaty guy, and I'm nervous at the same time. So by the time I was done printing stuff out at Staples and putting it in this portfolio and running back to this office, I was wearing like this nice collared shirt, and it was a light blue. It was dark blue by the end.
That's
But I
hilarious.
ended up getting the job, and I was that was like, the start of my career in graphic design. So these companies, they had licenses for different brands. Some of the stuff that I started working on was like Nickelodeon, like kids
Oh, wow.
clothing and stuff like that, SpongeBob and all that crap.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was cool because you would get access to like early things or things people wouldn't see. Sometimes they would get like movie properties. Like I believe it was like a movie called Over the Hedge that was
I
coming out
remember that
around that
movie.
time. Yeah. So you would see like all the assets and the artwork before anybody else could get a hold of it.
Oh, that's
It was
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I left that one I'd say about a year into it. I
Okay.
made friends with a guy there who he moved on to another company, and I came in at like entry level, so I was making like 20 grand a year there. Um, and he left for a bigger company, and he messaged me. He was like, "Hey, do you want to come over here and work with me? Like we're buddies. Like come work with me." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know if I have the right. I've only been here a year. I've only been doing this a year." He's like, "Don't worry about it. Like they'll hire you. Like you're talented." So I asked him like, "What salary wise? What should I ask for?" He was like, "Dude, just say whatever you want, whatever." I was like, "Okay." Like I'm making 20
I made
grand
$1
now.
million dollars.
Yeah, I'm making 20 grand now. So I was like, I go to the interview, and he had recommended I say 60,000, but I
Okay.
kind of I kind of chickened out a little bit, and I said
All right.
50, and I ended up getting it, which was crazy. So I was like 22, and I started just making $50,000 out of nowhere a year, which was at that time like living alone in my little tiny studio apartment for like, what was it, like $1,000 a month, you know, and I had like all this disposable income.
That's
So
great.
of course I was just wasting it.
I love it.
Partying.
So you already got some people popping up here. Karen is a time friend of mine, finally getting a chance to listen. George wants to know, and George has a question, and then Karen has a question for you already. George wants to know, how did you make that transition though from graphic design into tattoo art?
So that wasn't something that was even on my mind. Like I worked in graphic design for about close to 10 years. And by the time tattooing was coming into the picture, I was pretty tired of working for corporate You know, it's just typical corporate BS that happens. And my boss at the time, I was kind of just going through the motions and I wasn't really present at work. You know, I would show up late every day.
You were
I was
mentally
going,
checked out.
yeah, I was going out and like, drinking and coming into work smelling like alcohol.
Listen, the kids love this.
Yeah, basically just hung over. It'd be like 7 o'clock in the morning. I get out of the bar and just be like, all right, time to go to work. It was horrible. But my boss was noticing all that, and he's like, I noticed that you're not happy anymore. And he's like, it'd be cool. I think you should do something that's like more artistic, where you're not like getting bombarded with like salespeople and like all this crazy shit. And he's like, I think it'd be a cool job for you if you were a tattoo artist. And I was like, oh, that's a weird thing to say to me. Yeah, like, what are you talking about? And the funny thing is, like, after he mentioned that to me, I just kind of started researching it and looking into tattoos, and I actually went and got a tattoo, and the whole thing just started to fascinate me. So he kind of implanted that little seed in my head where it just grew and grew to the point where after about 4 or 5 months of like researching, I decided to seriously pursue learning to tattoo.
So that's wild, man. So it just came out of that one piece there of somebody just randomly trying to get you the hell out of the office. Like,
yeah,
you should go do tattoos. Like,
you probably saw a dark path ahead of me.
That might listen. Go doodle on people's arms.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good plan for you.
Before you end up in the gutter.
Yeah, Karen wants to know where are you working at right now?
I'm working at 2 locations right now. So I have a shop in New Jersey that I just started at. It's a Ink Gallery. And in Manhattan, I'm working at a shop called Red Baron.
Now I'm curious when it comes to like tattoo art and stuff like that. Is it similar? And this is my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong about this. Is it a similar kind of thing to when people like become a barber? You rent your chair, or so I think a lot of people think like, dude, I just paid this tattoo artist, $1,200 to doodle a well, we'll stay with SpongeBob for a second to doodle a SpongeBob on my arm, and why am I, how do I get through this? Like, is it a similar kind of a thing? How does that work?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to the structure of like how barbers get paid. But it also differs from shop to shop. Some people have different pay structures. It's one of 3 things. You're either going to be doing a percentage, flat fee, or you're just renting like a spot, like a little, you pay like partial the rent of the place or something like that, But the most common one that I see is the percentage split. So a lot of times artists are on like a 60 to 70% scale when it comes to the commissions that they're getting.
Now, I'm just curious now that you've said that, how much does that, because that's their margin then, they're at a 60 to 70% margin on the work they do.
Mm-hmm.
How much does that affect, the shop you're working at? Like if you're at one of these ones, like they used to have those TV shows, like the one in Vegas,
like Miami Ink and stuff like that.
Yeah, like you see those places, how much realism is it for that to drive the cost of that tattoo?
I mean, a lot of it is it's like a little bit of that, and also tattoo supplies are really pricey. Like a lot of the stuff that tattoo artists use have to go through like sterilization processes. You have to use like high quality steel, high quality needles, and a lot of these brands, they're like in the US, and they're all like, a lot of it's just like made here, and they're small companies, and that when they're getting supplies from overseas, that costs a lot too. So any metal that they're getting from, I don't know, wherever the hell they're getting, China, whatever, right?
China.
They have to like source that out, and that trickles down to the tattoo artist. A box of needles is, depending on where you're getting it from, you can pay anywhere between $28 to $45 for a box of 20 needles.
So I don't think people understand that additional costs that go into it. I mean, your labor is the most expensive cost in this.
Yeah, for sure.
And look, folks, if you're curious what Eric's got going on, make sure you check out Delvirus tattoos.com, and that's DELVIRIUS tattoos.com. You can see what he's got going on. Can they book a time in the chair with you off
Absolutely. That? Yeah, directly there. There's a bunch of pop-ups that says schedule now all the time. It's obnoxious.
That's beautiful. Listen, I get it. Look, time to get paid. There's a reason. Listen, it ain't personal, but it's personal. Like, we all got to get paid here off of this one. So, and Karen says, look, a great tattoo artist is worth the cost. And I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
Right. I've been to I'm that guy who people go, you don't have no tattoos. Yeah, I ain't got no tattoos. I got tattoos. And my daughter, our mutual friend has looked over some of my daughter's tattoos, and she does some art up here, and that's why I understood what you're saying as far as the different costs, because we bought her one of those portable printers for the tattoo stuff. Dude, that thing by itself was like $400 or $500, and then it only wanted to work half the time because it was Wi-Fi connected to her device, and she's that person that like could have nothing else in her hand. Her phone is at the bottom of her pocket. Take 2 steps and it falls out and it shatters on the floor. And it's like, how did you manage that? No one in the world could have ever managed that but you. But that's her. But that kind of brings me to my next question, though, because I think there's a lot of people out there that say, well, I can draw. Like I can draw. I could be a tattoo artist. Like, where does that transition go from being a artist to being able to be a good tattoo artist? And what are some of the things people should know about?
Well, the being able to draw and like tattoo, like that's good, like that's a good step forward, being able to draw. When I was coming up, one of the things that I learned is that it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to, especially nowadays, there's things that most traditional tattoo artists, they had flash, right?
Right.
And a lot of that flash was not drawn by them. Back in the day, you had to, order a catalog, and the artist would send you the catalog of their flash, and then you put it up on your wall and you tattoo it. So that artist had the technical skill to trace that design onto somebody's skin. But if you sat them down in front of a piece of paper and told them to draw something themselves, it was not going to happen, right? So that's one of the weird things about tattooing. It's good to have drawing skills. Is it 100% necessary to succeed as a tattoo artist? Not really. Like, you could be good technically with the machine, but and sad to say, but you can just go to Pinterest and find designs and just trace them on somebody's skin, and you could have a lucrative career doing that. It's crazy.
So, and Karen, now this is an interesting question. I never thought about, because in my mind, I just figured they are what they are. She had a question. She wanted to know, she's read that some inks have additives, and I'm curious what she was thinking about here. Additives that can cause health risks. How do you choose which inks you use?
So inks nowadays are very, very heavily regulated. Like back in the day, probably not, but a lot of ink companies now are under a lot of scrutiny, especially those in Europe. They even passed like a law where they have to eliminate certain dyes from their inks because they were linked to I think they were linked to some type of carcinogen or something like that. But for the most part, the additives that are in ink are pretty safe. There's no real like links to adverse health, effects from tattoo ink. But a lot of most companies that are used by tattoo artists for their inks, they're reputable. Like, the only thing that I would steer clear of is if you walk to a tattoo shop and, I mean, people are not going to know this, but a tattoo artist might see it and say, like, I've never seen that brand before. I'd be wary of letting that person use that on you. You know what I mean?
If your tattoo ink says Timu on the side of the bottle. Like, hey,
Exactly.
bro, I didn't know Timu made tattoo ink.
If you got
don't worry about
ink from Sheen or Shine, whatever they call it.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I got it off of Etsy.
It's fine. It's just a little thick. It's fine. It comes out like syrup.
There's a dude in Tupelo, Mississippi, makes his own ink, comes up and he sells it on Etsy. I love it. It's great.
It's funny. It's just a quick story. I met this guy one time, and he was older. He was probably like around like 70 years old. And he came to the shop and he wanted us to retouch a tattoo that he had. He'd gotten in prison, and it was a tattoo of an American eagle, and it held up pretty well. He said he got it when he was like in his 20s. So he got it in prison while he was in his 20s. You could tell it was an eagle. It had color in it. It had red, white, blue, a little bit of yellow in there. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I was like, how did you get color in prison? And he was like, oh, what we do is, if to get black, you could burn some paper, put a little alcohol and a little soot, mix that together with some other stuff, and that became the black. What interested me, what was crazy to me was the color, because he said what they would do is they would melt down melt down the outer shell of M&Ms and get the pigment from that. So I was like, that's M&M color on your skin, and it looks pretty good sitting there for 20 years. And no adverse health effects from that, so
hey, red dye number 5 never bothered me none.
It's all basically the same thing. All that stuff that you see in like food where it's like a color, red, propyl, lipple, whatever the hell. If it's in a plastic, if it's in your food, it's probably what's used as a dye for the tattoo ink as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, see, the only thing that ever scares me in food, and I will stand on my head for this. You know what the scariest words to see on a food label are?
What's that?
Other natural products or other natural additives, because they do not tell you what other natural additives are. They just use that term. Well, so do you know about the vanilla? Do you know about vanilla? I've talked about this 100 times. Do you know
sure, no.
So if you look it up, and it finally, once it came out, the companies had to back off on it. But for the longest time, to get the flavor of vanilla and for them to say other natural products, they used a gland that was found near a beaver's ass.
Oh, God.
And it tasted like vanilla. Now, a couple things here is who was the first one that figured it out? Is always the question there. And then why do we still let people get away with other natural?
Yeah.
That's my ass. Ain't nothing natural about it. So
beaver's ass is natural, that's for sure.
It absolutely is. Oh, you got some of that beaver ass juice?
Yeah, sounds good.
Coca-Cola and beaver ass juice.
It's like my oat milk now with beaver ass juice on it.
Oat milk, that's another one. Like, let me have nut water, because I saw a sign that said, you know why it's called oat milk? Oat milk, because they couldn't call it nut water. Drink that. I was like, well, fair enough. Nobody's chomping at the bit for that one. And remind me after the show's over, I have a completely inappropriate story that I'm not going to tell on the air about. Completely inappropriate. Like, there's few things that I won't tell. I won't tell this story on the air. But so how about going and so here I am. I think I can draw pretty well. Is there any steps that you would recommend? Because I know you've taught some folks how to do this, and I hear nothing but positivity. There's our friend Cody, she's soon enough will be talking about what she's got going on. Cody, he could do an elephant tattoo for you, and I'll explain that one later. But how look at this. This is too funny. She says, let's draw an elephant. Anyway, told you. But what would you consider like the next steps? Should I be going and buying like I've seen like the arms that you can buy for practicing tattooing on arms? Should I be looking at that, or should I go and try to find like, because I've heard some like my daughter when she was looking at shops, I heard some things about tattoo shops that reminded me like, look, bro, you're not Hell's Angels. Like why are we abusing people that want to learn this like a hazing ritual, or it looks like a fight club and you're going to make them stand outside of the shop holding ink bottles until you let them come back in. Like what are some of the things that like, hey, if you're good, here's your next steps?
So the recommended route is, walking into tattoo shops, you have your portfolio, you're letting them know that, you want to learn to tattoo. And then if they say yes, fine. If not, then you keep going. My route was unconventional. Like I went to a tattoo school where that's how I got my start from, which people will shit on most of the time. But the one that I went to was based in New Jersey.
Okay.
They ran for about 7-8 years before that all went to hell.
Shit on that. That seems like a very like good way to get a base understanding before you went and interned.
It's shit on mainly because of what it was. Like I went to one where it was more, it had a better structure, and they were trying to do something where like their whole goal was to become like an accredited school, like, so they wanted to do everything properly. But a lot of tattoo schools that you would see like just kind of advertising out there were like, oh, you're going to learn to tattoo in like a month. Like those places are where that stigma comes from.
Days.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of tattoo artists would kind of see when they hear tattoo school. That's their mentality, where it's like, oh, this is just like a mill, and you're just going to keep churning people out, and they're going to suck, and they're just going to open up in their basements and tattoo people out of there and take our clients away because they're charging $5 a piece,
Now that keep going, because you just reminded me of something, because I want to get your opinion on something in the tattoo world that I see here a lot lately. So when do you so what would be your recommendation then? Is it to go and try to find that intern, or get those little like rubbery body? That's so horrible. Get the rubber body parts and play with those.
It's strange because nowadays things are so different now, where you can teach yourself to code, you could teach yourself to do a lot of things. Tattooing is probably not the best thing to teach yourself. You would want somebody to kind of be there to kind of guide you to do things properly, especially when it comes to when you're working on somebody's skin. When you're going from a fake hand to a real hand, you're gonna mess that up. Because it's not the same. There's nothing the same about it. When you're working on those fake practice ones, it's just to get used to the machine, get used to being consistent with your lines. It has nothing to do with learning how deep to go into skin, if you're gonna blow something out, how fast you have to go for different people. Like everybody has different textures of skin. Like it's a whole. You start off thinking, I know everything. And when you leave fake skin and you jump to real skin, you're just back at square one when it comes to tattooing. So you're just like learning a whole new set of skills from there. And, if you don't have the guidance there, it's going to be hard. It's like with anything, right? If you could teach yourself something, and maybe it'll take you 4 years, but if somebody's there kind of helping you along, maybe it'll just take you 1 year, And some people don't have that thing in them where they'll, they can criticize themselves or see their flaws, or, analyze what they've done and kind of map out, okay, this is what I've done wrong. This is how I have to improve. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't have that.
I'm amazing. Just ask me. I'll let you know.
So, if someone like that is trying to learn a tattoo and they're teaching themselves, they're just going to end up making mistakes and just keep repeating those mistakes. And then they're going to start tattooing people and it's going to be a disaster, So
right.
I think
start with the
mentorship. Yeah.
Mentorship.
Yeah.
Now, Karen's got an interesting question. And I reason I say this is interesting. And look, folks, real quick, if you want to know about what Eric's got going on or see some of his work, or maybe you're like, you know what, Eric is amazing. I need him to tattoo me. Go to delvirustattoos.com. It's DELVIRIUS tattoos with an S at the end of it.com. So her question was, and the reason I say this is interesting to me is because it's like, hey, what's your favorite kid? I can tell you which one of mine it is. I have 8 of them, and they can all fight to figure out who it is. But she says, what tattoo are you most proud of creating?
Wow. Okay. There's a few. There's a few. I mean, the ones I like the most.
You're like you have a very darker.
Yeah.
I want to say macabre because that's not the right term, but more like darker colors, occult type stuff. You get into more of that. Am I explaining it right?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I'll do fun stuff where it's bubbly and fun for some people, but for the most part, I do my style, my artwork. Like when I'm drawing, it's always going to lean more towards kind of like dark, occulty kind of stuff. But one of the things that I'm very happy with. So anytime I do a tattoo like this, I'm always stoked about it. I'm very proud of it. Is I created kind of my own style of tattooing. I call it viral style, and I feel it's a very unique way of just designing tattoos. It still follows the fundamentals of a tattoo. It has black work. There's color in it, skin breaks, shading in there, but I approach it in kind of a unique way. The black is very heavy. Like a lot of the shadows is handled by just having solid black in a lot of areas. The colors are always going to be like really bold and vibrant, and the line work is always going to have this kind of almost like sketch kind of stuff going on with lines going here and there and little ink splatters here and there. But anytime I get to do a tattoo in that style and somebody approaches me and wants that style specifically, like I'm happy about it because it's kind of like my baby, like I took the time to refine it and create it. And when people ask like, oh, I really think that's cool and I would like something in that, it makes me ecstatic to hear that,
And just so you know, folks, I had Delvirus spelled wrong. I just realized that. Let's fix that real quick there. All right. Orchid just popped up. She says she loves it. This is interesting. Have you ever had to stop in the middle of a tattoo? Like somebody's like, no, it hurts.
Oh yeah, for sure. I had a few instances. One, this girl came in hungover, and I started a tattoo on her thigh, and I did like maybe 3 lines on it, and she was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I have to leave. And I'm like, okay, what happened? She was like, well, I went out last night, and I'm super hungover. So I stopped tattooing her. She went to the bathroom for like 20 minutes and then come back for like 20 minutes. She came back out. She was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go. Like, all right. I guess this is it.
Yeah, I guess I get it.
Yeah. Another one was this guy came in and he wanted this anime thing on his arm. And he was very nervous, like very, very nervous from the get-go. Like as soon as he walked in for his appointment, and he also went into the bathroom for an extremely long time.
What are you doing?
Came out.
In the bathroom?
I don't know. I think so. You're kind of psyching yourself up, maybe in there. You're like, "Let's go! Come on, I can do this."
I can handle
it. Do some push-ups,
something.
But he looked a little pale during the whole thing, and sat him down. We got the stencil on, and as soon as I pulled the first line, he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he looked like a ghost, like just pale. And I was like, "Are you all right?" He's like, all I saw was just his mouth kind of like fill up, and I immediately grabbed the trash bin that was right next to me and just yoinked it up to his face, and he just started puking into the trash can. I was like, I've never been happier with my reflexes.
Wow. Wow. And Cody says, because I spelled the website wrong, she says it's okay because she does this thing called Transcendence. And I say it wrong all the time. I call it Transcendence. I say it wrong all the time because it sounds better the way I say it. I think whoever invented it should change the name.
It's a music genre, no? Transcendence. Right? Yeah.
And Orchid said, it's funny because I was always teased that I never got a USMC tattoo. She served in the Marine Corps like myself.
Nice.
Tattoo. But then my daughter and I made a pact that when she turned 18, my first tattoo will be with me for her first tattoo, and now have matching tats on our wrist. Oh,
nice. That's awesome.
So I see all this stuff is absolutely fascinating to me. The whole entire, and you kind of posted something recently, and I don't know how many people understand this. We've talked about it on the show before.
Yeah.
What was it, 96 or 97 is when New York City legalized tattooing. Like, we think of New York City as like this ultra, like, modern, pushing it forward. Guess what, folks? There's a New York City you don't know, which is super, super conservative and was run by the conservatives for a long time.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Even during the age of Mario Cuomo and all them. Trust me, it was a pretty conservative place, even with Times Square being what it was.
Peep show land.
Peep show land. Peep shows for everyone. But you just posted recently that I guess South Korea is legalized, but it's not till like 2027. It's like a really weird.
Right. There's a delay there. So it's been illegal for a long time. They've been working really hard to try and get that, rescinded. South Korea has a lot of tattoo artists in it. There's a lot.
I just think of that culture. I think of Asian culture in general because I think we all think of like those big crazy
Japanese,
Yakuza tattoos, like all those type of things that you're like, especially there's so many military installations in South Korea. You're like, yeah, there's got to be tons of them, but it never crossed my mind that like that would be a place where it's like, yeah, no, we don't, no bueno here.
No, like a coworker of mine, she's Korean, and she mentioned how when she went over there, her and a friend wanted to get tattoos, and they had to like message the person. They got told to go to like a hair salon or nail salon, and then you got to like knock on this back door. They open it up. You go down the stairs into like this crypt.
Oh, that doesn't sound sketchy.
Yeah. But then the door opens, and it's like this luxurious, beautiful, just like minimalist, crazy tattoo shop inside there. Where you're like, oh wow, no windows, obviously, but it's still beautiful,
like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
Orchid just said that wasn't that long ago that it was talking about getting legal, and she said she just started. She follows you and loves your site now.
Oh, thank you.
And Karen, and listen, folks, and I always throw this out here. Take a moment and look up what Eric's got going on. You can also find him on Instagram at Delvirus. On Instagram, you can find him there, and check his website, delvirustattoos.com. If you check out on that site, I believe, is it on your About Us? I know it's on here because I saw it. You have all your social links in here somewhere. I know
that should be
bottom left corner. There it is. Of the first page. They're all on here because I was like, I know I saw them.
I hope they work.
So make sure you're giving all those. Like, this is Karen's on it tonight, so she wants to know, and I think I understand what she means. Like what's the strongest body part you have tattooed? Like, is there a particular spot where like people just kind of like suck it up? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I have my ribs tattooed with like a full 3-face kind of thing going on.
Yeah,
brother, I'm gonna tell you right now, there is nothing on God's green earth that after my daughter was about halfway through it, I was thinking to myself, like, this is stupid. I'm stupid right now. This is blacks and grays and a lot of shading going on my ribs. I'm an ignorant person right now. Should never have done this.
Yeah, it's usually
I love it now.
People feel.
But is there a spot where you're like, typically like, hey, if somebody gets it here, we're good. It's not a lot to it.
Usually that'll be like forearm. Forearm's like cakewalk. Like anybody can get a tattoo on their forearm. I've never had anybody complain.
Because it's just so meaty?
Yeah, it's just like to me, it's usually what's coming into contact with things every day, like all the time. Your forearm's always resting on tables and like doing shit. So your skin's kind of a little bit more resilient there. Your ribs, nobody touches your ribs. Who touches your ribs?
I can't listen.
Yeah,
like if somebody said to me, like, hey, I'm going to get a rib tattoo, I'd be like, hey, you might not want to.
You're like, why? Why are you doing that?
Like, there's no reason for that. Like you have no business doing that. And I would laugh at them because it's that painful of a place to get it.
Yeah, so, I've heard, I haven't done it, but I've heard the palm of your hand, the back of your knee, and the top of your foot. Those will send you.
So the guy who did my first tattoos was one of these guys, like one of your early tattoo magazine. Like that's how you kind of like your reputation was not built on social media. It was built on like, hey, is this guy in Tattoo Magazine? And if so, especially in a center, he had a portfolio in the middle, like a centerfold.
Okay.
And his name, I don't even know if he tattoos anymore. He was out of Jacksonville, North Carolina. His name was Steve Mishu. I still remember his name.
Yeah.
Because of the work he did. But I remember he was like, I won't do feet. And I was like, huh? We were just talking. He was like, yeah. Too many bones, too tender of an area. Every time you do it, people move around too much. And it's just not worth my time or effort. He's like, I'm not doing it. And he was pretty cool. Like he's also the only tattoo. And I don't know if this is common. This is a good question for you. And I don't know if this is common in tattoos or not, but he told me, he's like, for as long as I'm alive and I did your tattoo, if the color fades, come back and see me. I'll recolor it for free.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Is that a pretty common practice?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you'd want people to come back to you. Like you don't want anybody going anywhere else.
that was his thing. This is a good question. What's the funniest tattoo you've ever done? Like have you ever done one where you're like, this is ridiculous, but I'm going to do it?
Oh man, I've done a couple. There was a guy who got a Mr. Met tattoo on his butt cheek. That was pretty fun because he said he was upset with the Mets losing, and he said they were ass. So he's like, they deserve to be on an ass. So
that's pretty damn funny.
Yeah, like that was probably one of the funnier ones. I had a guy come in where the night before he was drunk with his friends, and he made a bet that they doodled a caricature of him on a napkin, and like, tomorrow you got to go get the tattoo. I don't know, they made some bet. I forgot what the hell it was. But he ended up losing, and he had to get this stupid doodle of himself that they made, it was offensive, horrible fucking doodle of him. He had to get it tattooed on him.
Oh, that's funny.
But the drawing was ridiculous. Nothing I would ever post.
That's pretty funny. Orchid said that Steve was still in Jacksonville when she was there in 2006 to 2011. He had his tattoo studio's name was Skin Art.
Okay.
Skin Art or Skin Ink. I think it was Skin Art. And he had two shops, and it was one of those kind of places. And it was right out one of the gates of one of the bases originally. So it was kind of like your first free weekend, the tattoo shop is there.
Yeah, right there.
Like you could, if you really wanted to, you could have walked to the place. And my first one was, I think it was very typical of like, I don't know if I really want to get into this or not, but it was a 4-leaf clover with St. Patrick under it. And it was like, all right, I can handle that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Skin Art. Yep.
Let's do the rips.
Yeah. And it was actually like, and then I bet you would say, other than my daughter, his shop has done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my tattoos.
Oh, wow.
Came from his shops. I mean, the guy was just a solid, like I can still remember his centerfold was a woman who had leopard print done across her entire body.
Wow.
Yeah, it was impressive. Real quick, folks, we're getting ready. I know you're always normally used to our New Scotland last call. We're going to have a little bit of a last call. This is a last call for the elephants, folks. And this is a special sponsor we've got today. Ready for an adventure of a lifetime that truly makes a difference. Join We Plant Joy's first ever eco tour to South Africa in April of 2026. This isn't just another trip, it's your chance to witness breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes, rich culture, and vibrant community while taking part in immersive workshops that will deepen your connection to the extraordinary place. And here's the best part: every traveler helps fund education and apprenticeship for local young people who are passionate about protecting their environment and wildlife. By exploring with purpose, you become part of a movement to conserve our planet's most precious lands and creatures. But wait, spaces are limited. Claim your spot before October 31st, and you'll also receive complimentary spa treatment in cozy glass massage hut surrounded by nature. For your chance, make sure you check out we see, this is what Cody always gets me on. We Plant Joy. You can find it on Facebook. And Cody, drop the website because I don't know why it didn't pop up on my whole little thing here. But yeah, definitely check it out. It's a pretty good opportunity. You can go out there. She like, I don't know how you do it. She put together like Tinder for elephants and like found like this elephant who lost its mate and brought it back to its mate and then got the hook back up. Like, listen, I think it's pretty impressive. If you can get elephants to do that. I just have a problem. I always think about the movie Brothers Grimsby. And if you've never seen it, go watch Brothers Grimsby and you will understand what I mean about elephants. Have you seen that movie?
I think so. That's
with Sacha Baron Cohen?
Right. Yeah.
He takes the rhino scene from
Ace
Ventura to a whole another level with the elephants. You're laughing because now you remember what I'm talking about.
I remember. Look, and also there was a video on Instagram where some woman is washing an elephant from the backside, and it just freaking rips in her face. Just this.
Funny enough, way early internet, when you could actually pull things off the internet and make it disappear. I'll never forget a video, and I've never been able to find it again. Somebody will tell me they can find it here after listening to this, of this woman. She was like a zookeeper, or maybe it was a man that was a zookeeper. And what is it? The Asian elephants are the smaller ones than the African elephants. So it must have been an Asian elephant. And they were like cleaning the cage or something like that. And the elephant like backed up and like was trying to like squat down or something like that. And their whole head went up their backside.
Oh no.
And they were like, and I guess the story was that the person actually got pretty jacked up by it, because not just the fact that like, hey, your head's up an elephant's head, but it was the fact that the elephant's weight, hitting them in the shoulders, and that like boom, like jacked this person. And I was like, that's horrible. Not only did you have this happen to you, but then an elephant did that to you.
Yeah.
Horrible. But everybody go check out what Cody's got going on with We Plant Joys, and go book your trip. Go check out Africa. Go see what she's got going on there. Maybe you can get a tattoo in Africa.
That'd be cool.
Cody, I need to know this, Cody. If somebody reaches out to Eric and gets a We Plant Joys tattoo with your emblem, can they get a discount on the trip? I'm throwing that out there. So now you got to contact Eric, and then you got to Cody see the tattoo, and then Cody's actually sitting in her house right now going, shut the hell up.
It has to be a tattoo of an elephant sitting on a man's head.
Sitting on a man's head is the plan. So, and Karen's got another good question for you. Have you ever done tattoos to cover up surgery scars? That seems like that would be pretty common.
Not really. A lot of that is there's people that specialize in that. Like I've done tattoos over like minimals, like little scars, like maybe a burn or like a scratch, a cat scratch that went a little too deep. I haven't done anything where it's like, surgery from like mastectomies or cesarean sections and stuff like that. Like those are really
a nipple and stuff
like those are really deep scars, and they require a lot of work and a lot of understanding of how scars heal and how a tattoo is going to affect that. And there are people who've kind of dedicated their whole tattoo career to that. So if that's like something, if you're looking for that, then research and find somebody who has like a portfolio of it, and they have the fresh ones and the healed ones, so you can see how it's going to look in the end.
See, this is where I haven't grown up since I was 13. I completely stopped because all I could think of is like a portfolio of nipple tattoos. Just like why?
It's like I do a lot of nipples.
What's that? Look, Ma. So how about the other side to this is, I'm going to kind of go back for a little bit, and I jump around a lot.
Yeah.
It's just the way my brain works. But I want to go back to the you've got multiple chairs in multiple locations. And I think this is something we're gonna kind of step into what you are as an entrepreneur. And I think people don't understand that because you're a 1099, I would imagine, in most of these.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And folks, for those of you that don't understand what a 1099 is, that means you're an independent contractor who works for somebody, which also means you don't get taxes taken out of the pay you make.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what, folks, as exciting as that sounds, because if you know me, you know I think taxes are criminal theft of your money and scumbag government all the way through. I'm a big flat tax person. If you want to charge me on what I buy, fine. You don't get to take my money from a federal level. You don't get to take my money from the state level. Then take my money when I buy something. Then take my money, because every other time I get very upset about it. It's a whole nother show. I get fired up. My bookkeeper is always like, I don't know anyone who hates taxes more than you. I was like, I think it's scumbag. I think they're all scum holes, every one of them. But that goes into being talk a little bit about going from a W-2 to a 1099 in this kind of role. Some of the things that you like, people who are trying to get into this world, some things they need to understand. That's not just, hey, you're not just and we're joking saying doodling, but you're not just doing this. There's a lot more to this than people realize.
Yeah, I mean, like you explained, you're pretty much working for yourself. You're a small business on your own. It was a transition, definitely, from I get my paycheck and everything's handled, to I have to make sure this is going here and that's going there, and this bank account has this much in there, and juggling things around and making sure that taxes get paid at the end of the year, but that is one of the aspects of tattooing that some people might not see, with the whole like glamour of like, I get to draw and all that stuff. It's the busy work. It's the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that has to get done. And it's not just managing your money. You're nowadays you're also I guess a content creator. You have to manage that as well, and then you're managing, if you're a shop owner, you're managing other people. And if you're a family man, then you're managing your kids, you're managing your life with your wife, like it becomes a little bit more complicated than just going to work and, getting your paycheck and going home. There's a whole back room of things that you're doing, like any entrepreneur, any self-employed person has to do, which it makes it fun. It's fun in its own way, and it's liberating, just to be able to, I guess, maybe you still beholden to people, but less than you would say if you were like in a corporate world.
Well, I mean, you can still walk away as a 1099. You can be like, I'm not coming in today.
Right.
But you are, guess what, folks, as a 1099, you are responsible for your own equipment, your own everything.
Mm-hmm.
They supply you with nothing. They can't tell you when you can come and go, but they can also tell you to not come.
Right. Yeah. But you're kind of always on the precipice.
Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it. But that's some of the stuff. How about now? I started to notice this trend a few years ago in tattoos. I think I always have had that stuff popping up on my social media because it's somebody who enjoys them. And I think personally it's stupid. I don't know if I would ever do it. Like, I would have to be like one of my best friends to even do this. But these gumball machine tattoos.
Oh yeah, we have one of those in the shop.
Do you like?
Yeah.
Every time I see them, it's like a baby angel with a big giant hoo-hoo, and you're like, and they're like, "Where are you getting this at? You got to do it. It's $20." And it's like, I'm not. Eat the $20. I'm not putting that on my body.
Yeah.
Like, where do you think this trend has come from? And do you think it's good or bad?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's kind of like I guess just a fun thing to do, but we try not to make it where like the person's wasting 20 or well, it's not $20, but the person's wasting money.
Sure.
You know, like I'm not gonna put a big ding dong in there. Just yeah. Like we put nice stuff in there that people actually want. And then we give them the option to re-roll also, for a little extra, re-roll
Right.
until you get the one you want.
What is your
guy? I guess the trend just comes from, people wanting to, like, there's a lot of times where people just walk into a tattoo shop and they're like, I want whatever. I just want a tattoo. Yeah, they get that. They're like, whatever. I don't like that, but sometimes the whatever you steer them to. Oh, we have this flash. We have this artwork. We have this gumball machine. Maybe something will come out that you actually like, It's like that random impulse that people get.
You should tattoo the word whatever on somebody.
Whatever. I just want a tattoo of whatever. Whatever.
Again, completely sidebar because this is the way my brain works. Have you ever heard of that telephone company called I Don't Care, Whatever You Pick, I'm All Right? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
There was a guy back in like the 80s or something like that when everybody had to pick your long distance carrier, and he created a whole bunch of long distance carriers on his own, and that was the names of them. I don't care, you pick, whatever, it doesn't matter. And he named them this, and his long distance cost was through the roof, the minutes. Like, and people had to pay it, and people were like, I didn't pick this carrier. Yes, you did. You called in, and when you were picking your carrier, you said, I don't care.
Yes.
That's the name of this carrier is I don't care.
Smart.
I mean, it's wild. Like,
yeah.
They had him on, I remember they had the guy on the news, and they're like, what do you have to say for yourself? He said, I guess you should pay more attention to what you're asking for.
Make a decision.
And pay my bill because I need to go ahead and get paid for this. So, well, look, folks, Eric, I don't even realize. I'm just looking. I was like, God, it's already we're almost at an hour.
Oh, yeah, damn. Fast.
You can. It doesn't take much. Again, folks, if you want to see what Eric's got going on, you can check out Delvirus, Delvirustattoos.com. You can see what he's got going on. You can see his art. You can check his flash. His Instagram is exactly the same thing as Delvirus. Is Delvirus? It's just Delvirus on your Instagram. Right? And if you go to the website, you can obviously click down at the very bottom left. He's got all of his social media links on there. You can see what's going on. How far out we booking, man? If somebody jumps on there right now, how easy is it to get a spot with you?
It's pretty easy. Like I usually keep a few days open for like new people, just like kind of slot in,
Gotcha. I'm thinking about anything you won't tattoo, like whether body part or
body part. Not really. I mean, if it's something that's really desired, I'll make it work. Maybe I won't tattoo. Yeah, the lip. Somebody's a Johnson and maybe a
dude. What, like, have you ever sidebar? Has anybody ever come in and been like, "Hey, dude, I want you to put a smiley face on this"?
You'll get the occasional prank phone call, but like I don't know if they're serious or not. But they kind of chuckle and giggle while they're doing it. So I don't think a lot of people have the fortitude to like go through with that.
Not me.
Yeah.
Not it. There's always the story about the dollar, the tattoo of the dollar on that. You've heard that one. I know you have. I'll tell you that story after the show. Well, look, folks, we do not have a live show next week. I'm going to put something up. I'll have to dig through because I will be at New York City Comic-Con.
Nice.
So if you see me at New York City Comic-Con, make sure you come over and say hello and all those kind of things. So we're not doing a live show next week, but we are doing one on the 16th. That will be with our good friend Isaiah Gill. You're a rock fan, Eric?
Rock and roll music. Yeah.
So Isaiah has the claim to fame of being we always say the current because they just haven't done anything else.
Yeah.
Drummer for the band Black Flag.
Oh, sick. Okay. Dope.
And he's a world champion drummer. Karen said, thank you for a great hour. I learned a bunch and had a few laughs. I will definitely look into Eric. I'm thinking about another tattoo. Always love a great recommendation. Well, there you go, Karen.
Oh, thank you.
This will probably be, we'll see if his buddy Ruben can join us. Ruben is a food and entertainment reporter out of Houston. It will probably be a show about absolutely nothing but three jackasses just jibber jabbering, because every so often you need one of those. So if you find an Eric through me or me through Eric, please make sure you give this a like, share, follow the show. Find us on all the different social media platforms, YouTube. Make sure all those things happen. It really does make a difference in both of our lives, how we get found. Now, I know, Eric, you have enveloped yourself in the Above the Bar podcast culture. Listen to all other 303 episodes, because this is 304. You've listened to all of them, so you know what's coming next. So I'll just remind you, and please don't log off afterwards. You talk for a moment. The guest always gets the final word. So what is our final word for tonight?
Thank you so much. And is it one word I have to say?
Whatever you want to say. It's your platform at this point. You do you, boo.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate all the comments and everybody interacting. This was a pleasure. And if you do want a tattoo, consider me. If you don't want to get a tattoo from me, you can still talk to me about tattoos. I'm an open book. It doesn't matter. I'll answer any question you have. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, folks. Be sure to push your stool in. This has been a Second Front podcast presentation found on Apple, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found.